I'm going to tell you everything you need to know before buying the Esperia Talon or Talon Shrike, and we're starting right now.
Systems activating. Systems on.
Thank you so much to all the support from patrons, channel members, and Twitch subscribers that make this possible. Welcome to A Star Citizen's Buyer's Guide. This is SubliminaL here, and today we'll be discussing the features, functions, and benefits of the Esperia Talon. We'll cover a brief overview, show off some skin, compare stats with similar ships, review pros and cons, and I'll give you my thoughts on the Talon. I'll be skipping the tour on this one. If you'd like to see a tour, check out my first look. This will be a buyer's guide of both the Talon and Talon Shrike. If you'd like to see tips on how to load out your Talons, I've made dedicated guides to each of them here. Enough with the formalities, let's get to it. The Esperia Talon is a small, light, single-seat fighter dedicated for escort services and targeted strikes. Built in the Tavaran style, the Talon has powerful directional phalanx shields for maximum maneuverability, but weak physical armor once the shields are dropped. A pair of size 4 weapons and size 3 missile racks complement the Talon's strike first and strike hard combat style. The Esperia Talon Shrike is a variant of the basic Talon craft with smaller weapons and more missiles. The Talon Shrike trades in its size 3 weapons for size 1 guns, but has been modified with an internal missile bay carrying 24 size 3 missiles. Using its maneuverability and directional phalanx shields, the Talon Shrike delivers its missile payload quickly onto a target before evading pursuit. Esperia Incorporated is a human spacecraft manufacturer that adapts, reproduces, and sells existing Xeno spacecrafts and weapon designs. As of today, both the Talon and Talon Shrike are available for sale and upgrade on the Pledge Store for $100 War Bond or $115 standalone, and for a very limited time. The Talon has 2 alternative paint skins available, the Crimson paint skin and the Cobalt paint skin. Each are sold for $4.50, or you can buy them both for $7.65 in a double pack. Another cool thing is if you own both the Talon and the Shrike, you can actually swap the paint jobs amongst them. I personally love both of the purchasable paint skins, but I really do wish the Crimson was more, well, crimson. It would be nice if it matched my Aves armor. Now that we know a little bit more about the Esperia Talons, let's see how they compare against other ships you might be considering. For comparison, I've selected 10 ships, all light fighters with a heavy emphasis on glass cannons and small stealthy fighters. The Google Sheet document with the data is linked in the description. The Esperia Talons weigh in at over 50,000 kilograms and ties in 4th place with the Gladius. They fit in with a volume of 2,900 meters and take 6th place. No ships compared have any cargo space, nor can they crew more than 1 person. They carry 583 quantum fuel units, the same as every other ship listed. They cruise by with an SEM speed of 208 meters per second and ties in 6th place with the Gladius again. They blaze by with a max speed of 1236. This ties in 5th place as well with the Gladius. I think we're starting to see a trend here. They have a maximum pitch rate of 80 degrees per second and takes 1st place. They have a maximum yaw rate of 70 degrees per second and ties in 3rd place with the Cartuade. They have a maximum roll rate of 275 degrees per second, second only to the Arrow. They have a total hull HP of over 18,000, takes 1st place here, but this should be taken with a grain of salt, due to the surface of the wingtips and other surfaces that don't contribute to the ship actually blowing up. They have a physical armor damage reduction of 0% and ties in 7th place. They have an energy armor damage reduction of 0% as well and ties in 7th place again. They have an EM, IR, and CS reduction of 30%. They take 1st place here again. They both shoot Ps with a default pilot DPS of 672 and 314 respectively. This is pretty terrible, but they come sporting weak stealth laser cannons. The damage potential of the base Talon is actually pretty good. None of the ships on this list have turrets. They have a stock missile payload from the base Talon of over 14,000, and the Talon Shrike can do over 100,000 missile damage. That's insane. And the Esperia Talons are the only ships not available for sale in-game. I'm excited to announce a new art series, Vessels of the Verse. This will be the first of many designs that will be released alongside buyer's guides and loadout guides. They will be available on Displayed in 48 hours, on the merch store in 24 hours, Desktop wallpapers are available right now to Twitch subs, patrons, and YouTube channel members, and mobile wallpapers are available for free via link in the description. Alright, let's weigh some of the pros and cons. If I say one of these and it doesn't appear on the screen, it's because I only have 10 slots on this template. The talons are pretty small. They do have a lot of frilly things that can be shot off, but fortunately, they won't cause the ship to blow up. The actual vital portions take up a small portion of the ship. Acceleration can't be measured in the game's files, but thanks to Legacy Fleet SPAT tool using crowdsourced data, we can see compared to the other Esperia's remake, the Blade, it clearly excels here. Now, compared to other ships like the Gladius and Arrow, it's similar overall. However, I prefer the Arrow and Gladius's left to right acceleration over up and down. It has a weapon rack, although adding a weapon to it means that it will be stuck there forever. I'm confident they'll fix this soon though. Its forward afterburner heat resistance is out of this world. I can go from our max speed of 1236, pull a 180, accelerate back forward in the direction I came, and not only come to a complete stop, but then continue back to max speed without ever letting off the afterburner or thrust. That's crazy. Most ships can't even do this and come to a complete stop without the main thrusters overheating. Its max speed is pretty good as well, although there are certainly some faster ships on this list, but overall it's great. What I like to call its agility or pitch and yaw, and especially the roll rate, are outstanding. Combining these with its acceleration, helping the ship actually get to those numbers quicker, is great. Its hull HP is excellent as well. Just keep in mind that this isn't the hull HP of the vital parts of the ship. This number includes everything, and the Talons have a lot of extra shit that inflates that number. Its stealth is great too. I was able to get my IR down to around 5800, which isn't all that impressive by itself, but when you reduce the 30% that the Talon's armor diffuses, it means you can be very stealthy in this ship, and it doesn't mean you have to be left completely vulnerable. My recommended build comes in at around 6700 IR, so that's about 2300 to 3500 meters of detection, depending on your opposition's radar. That's great considering the size 4 weapons can hit from up to 4000 meters away. While the missile payload of the base is nothing special, the Talon Shrike being able to have 24 size 2 missiles is almost comical. It's like a clown car, but with missiles falling out of the back at a routine traffic stop. The damage potential with having 2 size 4s is great. It actually has the same damage potential as having 3 size 3s. This brings me to my next and final pro, its weapon range potential. Size 4 weapon ranges actually make having 2 size 4s better, even though they do about the same amount of DPS as 3 size 3s. Typically the best size 3 weapons have around 2100 to 2500 meters of range, whereas commonly used size 4 weapons have between 3300 and 4000 meters of range. This is something that is commonly overlooked when discussing the Talon. People see 2 weapons and think it's a joke, but in actuality, 2 size 4s are generally better in every way than size 3s. Its SCM speed isn't great at all. I suspect this is balancing due to stealth capabilities. However, it should be noted because when component degradation comes in, you'll be damaging components if you frequently fly over that speed. One thing that a lot of you would say is a major flaw is that if the Talon loses a wing, it's dead in the water. This is a problem and I'm adding it as a con here. However, just as an FYI, you can close the wings on the Talon and regain most of its controls, even enough to finish off a PvE fight. Certainly enough for sure to get yourself easily to a space station. Landing is a little bit of a challenge, but something that can be easily mastered. We already spoke about the base Talon's massive size 4 weapons, but anyone looking at the Shrike needs to know it comes with 2 size 2 hardpoints. That's almost laughable. And finally, because I can't seem to think of anything else at the time of writing the script, its slow entry and exit animation is infuriating and a sniper's wet dream. Frequently on stream, I'll Alt-Tab to do a Google search on my other monitor and come back in time to see the canopy close. I think they have a plan to add a button to accelerate all entry animations. However, being 3 times as long as most ships will still be a problem even then. So what are my thoughts? Let's start with the Shrike so we can end this on a positive note. Please note these are just my opinions. The Shrike is, well, shit. Having so many missiles is great, but you can only fire 2 at a time. Now, firing 2 at a time isn't the problem, this is expected. But having 2 BB guns attached makes it frustratingly long to take out a large PvE target. I found that to be effective with killing larger targets, you have to fire a salvo of missiles, shoot your BB guns as the target gets closer, and then fire 2 more missiles again. Then follow up with more BB gun shots until it explodes. If this is fun to you, go right ahead. But after spending days flying the base Talon and wrecking shit up with just raw damage, having to figure out how to do the same thing with the Shrike was jarringly frustrating and not fun, to the point that I just went back to the base Talon. I couldn't stand to spend more than 30 minutes doing VHRT bounty missions in the Shrike to do this review. I normally spend a lot more time than that. Countermeasures are just too OP for this ship. The only thing I think CIG could do to fix the Shrike is to bump up the hardpoint size from 2 to 3. Now, this will make the Shrike OP, however, they can just nerf its maneuverability or durability to balance it out. There is no reason why these ships need to be identical in every way except for the missiles and the guns. This is just my idea. It's not my job to fix ships, I just review them. Okay, now that we've got that rant out of the way, let's talk about the base Talon. First off, calling it the base is a disservice. This ship is fast, durable, except from asteroids. They're the most OP opponent in the verse right now with the desync. It packs a punch, it's stealthy, and it's a purdy birdie. What more can you ask for in a small fighter? I spent hours on stream doing the new bounty hunting missions, and I think I've been killed once due to my own negligence. This is of course not factoring in the aforementioned asteroids that have a very large social bubble. Now, for competitive PvP, I think you could go better with an Arrow or Gladius. Not that the Talon is terrible at PvP, I just feel that if pilot skill was the same, one of those ships would prevail. With that being said, I can say this with 100% confidence. The Talon is my favorite PvE light fighter. I can fly around for hours doing HRT and VHRT missions in the ship for hours without needing to repair. Although I feel more agile and harder to hit in an Arrow, I find myself needing to repair much more often. If you're looking for a new light fighter, especially if you mainly do PvE combat missions, the Talon comes in highly recommended by me. Those are my thoughts. Let me hear yours down in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my loadout guide for the Esperia Talon and Talon Shrike here. If you enjoy my channel, there are so many ways to support it, ranging from free options like Prime gaming subscriptions and sending out for UEC in the verse, sub club subscriptions, merch, to more generous forms of support. Head over to SubliminaLchannel.tv to learn how. Your support in all forms makes this channel possible. Even your viewership, liking, and subscribing goes a long way. To continue watching, here's a video I think you may like. Here's a video YouTube thinks you may like. And until next time, citizens, I'll see you in the verse.